Your communication skills are pretty much important for a trainer because you are representing a company. There are people who are always using phones. How are you going to handle that? Who will not even listen to you, right? During a class, you're still talking and they're on the phones, texting, chatting. How will you handle all these things?
Only when I got into the first time in the company, a person was there that was an external trainer from different. He was not from any organization or something. He just came and trained us.
My first company was Amazon, where I joined in TRMS sector, and
it has happened in my company only. Like if we were like 5 minutes late also, 5 minutes late, then we had to apply for half day leave.
हेलो दोस्तों, वेलकम टू चैनल बी अ प्रोग्रामर में। तो आज की ये पर्टिकुलर वीडियो इतनी ज़्यादा इन्फॉर्मेटिव होने वाली है, एक ऐसे बंदी से आपको मिलाने वाला है। हर नेम इज प्रियंका एंड शी विल बी शेयरिंग हर एक्सपीरियंस, हाउ शी बिकेम अ ट्रेनिंग मैनेजर, सीनियर ट्रेनिंग मैनेजर, एंड शी हैज़ वर्क विद मतलब डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ कंपनीज लाइक Amazon, Genpact, Capgemini, these kind of companies now, then Tech Mahindra, these kind of companies. She is having about 7 years of experience. She will be sharing everything. इतने ढेर सारी नॉलेज आपको मिलने वाली है और एक डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ वीडियो होगी, बिकॉज भाई मिलेगी नहीं ऐसी वीडियो। इट इज़ नॉट अ सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग जॉब, इट इज़ नॉट क्या नाम है BPO काइंड ऑफ जॉब और Amazon काइंड ऑफ जॉब। मतलब Amazon में जो नॉन टेक वाले जॉब्स होते हैं, दिस इज अ वेरी डिफरेंट फील्ड। ट्रेनिंग मैनेजर कैसे बनते हैं एंड फ्रेशर्स कैन ऑल्सो बिकम। शी हैज़ एक्सप्लेन्ड एवरीथिंग सो नाइसली। तो भाई देखो ये वीडियो और थैंक यू सो मच प्रियंका। जरूर बोलना डिस्क्रिप्शन मतलब कमेंट में, डेफिनेटली जाओ। चलो देखे स्टार्ट करते हैं।
Hello, hi everyone. Today we are with Priyanka, and in this particular video, now you will be getting so much of knowledge because she has experience of about 7 years, and she has been working as a trainer in Tech Mahindra. She will be explaining everything: how to become a trainer, can a fresher become a trainer, and what are the certifications needed, what are the things needed, what is the career goal, like what is the career path, what is the growth. Everything we'll be talking about. First of all, can you please introduce yourself, Priyanka?
Hi Anurag, thanks for giving me this opportunity to go ahead and make this video. I'm sure this will be very much informative. So guys, my name is Priyanka Krishna. I've been working in the training field all through my career. So this video is gonna briefly talk to you about how can you aspire to be a trainer and then move up the curve from a trainer to a training team leader, an assistant training manager or training manager. I'm going to cover it each and everything very briefly so that you can understand. And if you want to be on the same side, you can also pursue this goal.
Sure. So first question arises like, what are the, suppose a person who is a fresher or someone wants to become a trainer, what are the qualities or what are the skills he needs to get into this field firstly?
First things first, Anurag. So the training field is one such field where a person needs to be extrovert and extremely confident because you are representing yourself in front of a group of people. So the first set of quality that needs to be there with a trainer is that you need to be an extrovert. You should like interacting with people. There are a few people who do not like small talks. There are a few people who like small talks. So trainers are the one who are, wanting to be around people all the time and wanting to help and all such things. So that's one of the major quality I would say in terms of your personality wise, that you need to be an extrovert saying that, hey, I want to do this. I want to be talkative. I want to be interactive. So anybody who is, pretty much talkative can actually make sure that this field suits for them. More technical skills, I will go ahead and then, talk.
Sure. That we will discuss one by one, everything we are going to discuss. And next, suppose one question arises here, whoever are seeing this video, like can a fresher, like most of the audience of mine is like kind of fresher or 1 year 2 years experienced, can a fresher become a trainer? Can a fresher get into this particular field?
Sure, why not? So there's one thing, guys, that as soon as you enter in any of the corporates, let those be big corporates or small startups or whatsoever, right? Every field has a training department. Now, how do you have to get into this training department? Is you need to have a zeal first, that you need to be sure that you want to become a trainer. So you go ahead and try talking to your training department first. So as soon as you enter a corporate, to make sure that you learn product, process, or let's say if you want to be or the orientation about the company or anything as such, there's one trainer who will always disseminate the information for you, right? So you'll know who the trainer is. So you'll know who the training team leader is and who the manager is. So if this is what you aspire to become, you need to first build a rapport with them, saying what they're doing, how they're doing. If you want to fit in this role, what are the qualities that you need to pick up from your trainer and things as such. So until and unless you don't ask anybody saying that, I want to become a trainer, nobody will give you that skill set. So a fresher can definitely become, but it's also important that you need to know the product, process, the company's rules, values, and all of them. So you can start off by talking to your trainer saying that, hey, I'm interested in this role. How should I apply for it? What are the things that I have to do? So every corporate has a criteria, Anurag. Like after a 1 year, you apply, after 2 years, you can apply. And you need to have so and so quality for you to apply for this. When I see quality, that when you do your cases, you will have your target and quality. You need to continuously achieve them, prove your record, saying that you're a better performer. And after that, that's your first step of becoming anything, to a next level when you join as a trainer. Make sure your production, your target is on place. Make sure you're in the good books of manager. Make sure you're talking to the trainer and having a rapport with the training manager, so that when an opportunity opens up, they'll know that you're interested. Until and unless you don't go ahead and express your interest to anybody, nobody will know that you are aspiring to become one trainer, right? So,
Right. Actually, I asked this question I asked this question because, like, hearing of a trainer, suppose a word come trainer, a frame will come in our mind. That is, a trainer is a person who is having so much of experience, or he's like expert in that particular field, having 10 years, 12 years, 15 years of experience. Because we have seen also, like, what are the teachers, or in the company also trainer comes, they are like that. Well, that's why I asked this question, that these are the qualities you need if you want to get into this particular field. That's why this video is different. We are talking about many different things. So, like, how does, like, Priyanka, suppose I want to ask you one thing, that is, how does the career look like? Suppose I want to get into this field. I want to also know, like, what is a career path like? From, like, if you get into associate, then how you become a trainer, then how does you become a senior, like, how does this whole career look like?
Yeah, so I'm going to briefly explain that to you, Anurag. So the first thing has to do is you join as a fresher, like I said, express the interest to your manager. That's your first step. Make sure your production, your quality is up to the mark so that you show keen interest. 3, work on your communication skills. Your communication skills are pretty much important for a trainer because you are representing a company. So they would want somebody a strong personality, somebody who's continuously, very well in English, and who can also stay very confident when a question comes to you, right? So that these are the 3 things. So the moment, let's say, your targets are achieved, that's your production, your quality, you're very good at the process, in and out everything about the process. You are a very confident person, you're an extrovert, you join in as a trainer. Once you become a trainer, you will be handheld, which means there is a senior trainer who will be sitting beside you and who will be hand holding you, how you should disseminate this information. If, let's say, you and me, Anurag, are talking, the set of questions that you're going ahead, because that's an experience. Same with the trainer. So let's say if you want to start teaching a person A, B, C, D, how do you have to start? What's your style of communication? Few people use boards, few people use only, the digital media. You need to know your personality. I personally prefer writing quite a lot because that can capture the audiences. So there are a few other trainers who would use video material. You can use that as well. So that's the first thing that you will do as a trainer. You will work in the training field for at least 2 years as a trainer, so that you'll know what are the people issues that you're going to come across. There are few people issues like, people will, let that be virtual training or let that be in-office training. People will usually come late. How are you going to handle that? There are people who are always using phones. How are you going to handle that? So these 2 years will teach you about how to handle your trainees. There are few trainees who will not even listen to you, right? During a class, you're still talking and they're on the phones, texting, chatting. How will you handle all these things? So as a trainer, you will need to work for 2 years at least, minimum, so that you'll know what are the people issues, how can you solve it, how can you have a way around. And there are some times, you're bothered by your parents back home and you're not able to concentrate on class. How will you deal with these people? No matter how many examples that I give you right now, there's always one special case that will stand in front of you, right? So you'll need to have this in-person experience. You'll need to figure out your own way. In a training field, there's nothing called wrong or right. You just have to take a decision, right? And then it's a people management skill. Some people deal it in a very different way. Some people deal it in a very different way. But training field is one such field, Anurag, where people are very much empathetic. Let's say, if suppose somebody is facing an issue, we try and understand and we not penalize saying that, hey, you're not supposed to use phone. we give them extra break for that particular person and all of that. So when you're a trainer for 2 years, you'll figure all of these things out. And that's when you'll move to a senior training position. That means you will be training the other trainers. How are you supposed to train? Right. So those 2 years of you should be working as a trainer, and then you'll move to a senior trainer. Yeah, a senior trainer is nothing but you will teach other new trainers how to train people. So as a trainer, you'll need to send attendance. You'll need to make sure everybody has laptops. You'll need to make sure everybody's coming on time. Everybody's listening to you, clearing the assessments. When you have to be put on the floor, you'll have to clear the assessments, right? So all these things as a trainer you'll learn, and then you'll move up to the curve, which is a senior trainer within 2 years. If you're extremely and exceptionally performing well, you can move up the curve in 1.5 years also. And let me tell you also this, Anurag, training field is one such field which will let you go to the abroad as well, which means, let's say a company is starting a process in like Malaysia or US, you know the process, you are a very expert person in that. So the company will put your name forward saying, why don't you go train our people in US, right? Things as such. So all these fields can be explored. And then you'll move to the senior trainer. And then comes the training team lead, where you will be handling a set of trainers, like 5 or 6 people, where you tell, hey, listen, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, this is your schedule. I want these people to be ready by day 10 so that they can sit on the floor and work, right? So that's where the training team lead comes into role. Training team leader needs to have maximum of experience, and a minimum of experience, I'd say, is 3 years. That's when you learn how to handle your trainers, not just your trainees, but your trainers also can give you trouble. Some people do not want to show up. Some people do not want to teach, right? So as a training team lead also, you will have your own challenges, which you might have to face. So 3 years is the minimum curve that one needs to work in a training team lead position. And then comes your assistant manager training.
Okay, and I have also seen like people who are getting like they are into this field, and they are also doing freelance work for different companies. Like freelance, like I've seen like my company only, when I got into the first time in the company, a person was there that was an external trainer from different. He was not from any organization or something. He just came and trained us, and again he was going to different company. Like that also happens, no?
Yeah, so there are freelancing training organizations also, Anurag, where you can work as a freelancer. Like, let's say, suppose if it's a calling process and you need to be taught about accents, you need to be taught about phonetics. So people will be hired from different companies. So for you to become a voice and accent trainer or communication trainer, you need to clear a few certifications online. Your English needs to be exceptionally good, because the customers that you're handling are US, UK, Canada, and all of these folks. Right. So yes, there are freelancing training as well. I personally go ahead and give communication skills training, empathy training, how you should present yourself in corporate and things as such. Such trainings also can take place. Yes. So that's also one of the other opportunity has, and when you're working in your own organization, you can have one freelancing just for yourself, and you can, charge on an hourly basis.
Okay, hourly basis we can charge if he's a like freelance trainer. Depends on. Okay. And as you mentioned, like different kind of certification or assessments need to be cleared. What are these assessments? If someone is looking for this, what are these assessments we need to clear if we want to become?
So there is on online, you just have to go ahead and click voice and accent. I'm sure for anybody, any fresher who might have been clearing all these voice and accent companies, they have something called voice and test. Right? You have to clear the voice and test. So a communication trainer needs to clear the higher level of the voice and test, right? Where you will be certified from external organizations. All these external organizations can be found online. You just have to go ahead and then say that certification for a communication trainer, you will have to go represent, show your communication skills, and then they'll give you a certificate saying that you are, communication skills certified trainer, and you can teach English, accents, phonetics to all those BPOs sectors and all of that. So yeah, these are the assessments that one needs to take.
Okay. And as you are working as in Tech Mahindra as a trainer, so like how does it like when you entered, how does it go on? What was a path like trainer, then senior trainer, then training to a team? How it happened? Like, if you can give your experience on this?
Sure. So I will tell you the list of companies that I worked for. And currently I'm an assistant training manager. Now I'm applying for manager roles. So I'll tell you how this path worked for me. My first company was Amazon, where I joined in TRMS sector, and I had the zeal towards becoming a trainer. And unfortunately, somehow the opportunities did not open because the company was full. So I looked out for better opportunities, and then I got placed in Genpact, where I was a backup trainer. That means whenever my main trainer was not available, I was teaching them, but I was not perfect yet. So that's where my journey of the training field completely started. And as and when they've seen the potential in me, they've made me a trainer in Genpact. And then I moved to Genpact Google process I worked for, and then I moved to Genpact Facebook process, where I was the complete full-fledged trainer, where I was teaching the community guideline policies and all of that to the set of people. And then I moved to Concentrix. Concentrix is where I picked up the trainer role for a good 2 years, and then I have become a training team lead by the lateral growth. That means I finished my training and senior training in Concentrix itself, and then I moved to a senior trainer. And then I worked for something called Asian Institute of Gastroenterology, which is in Gachibowli, as the deputy manager training, where I was delivering all the behavioral aspects, because you'll be dealing with patients day in and day out, and the set of trainers that I'm handling, right? So that's how my curve has been. And the last, I worked for Tech Mahindra, as an assistant training manager, where I was just managing a set of 6-7 trainers under me, and I was telling them how it needs to be planned. Like 6-7 trainers of mine sit with me, plan, saying that, a new batch is coming, a batch of 15 is coming, how should we plan, and all of that stuff. So this is how the growth curve looks like. You'll at least have to spend minimum of 3 years in each of these sectors. But if you're exceptionally good, and if you're giving more than what's required for the company, and if your manager has faith in you, you will just move up the curve very quickly. That happened in my case. So yeah.
Okay, from here one question comes, that is, and you are a perfect one to answer this, that is because you are having so much of experience from different companies, and you got into interviews, you cleared everything. So one question is, that is, what are the kind of questions? Suppose someone is going for the interview, what are the kind of questions they ask particularly from a training manager?
Yeah, let's say if I am a training manager and if I'm hiring my trainers, I would see the first thing that I would see is communication skill, Anurag. If a person is able to communicate to me effectively or not, that's the first criteria. The rest all skills can be learned. That's the first criteria that we look at. The second criteria is you as a personality. Are you an extrovert? Do you like talking to people? Do you love interaction with people? Because your job is to not just to sit in front of the system, but then you need to talk to people. How chirpy or how happy are you? Because you are the energy or the face of the corporate. Every fresher that enters into a corporate sector, that's the first face a person would. And basis on your feedback, the whole company's feedback is dependable on. So that's the second thing that I would see. How extrovertishly this person's good. Will she or will he be able to carry that extroverted nature and enjoys talking to people, enjoys teaching, the teaching methodologies. The third one is the teaching methodologies. There are sometimes strict trainers, if the class starts at 9, you don't come at 9 and then you're done. There are few trainers.
It has happened. It has happened in my company only. Like if we were 5 minutes late also, 5 minutes late, then we had to apply for half day leave. That has happened with us.
That completely, sometimes it completely depends on the trainer. I would say I was a very lenient trainer, and my manager hated it. But my whole goal was to make sure that the trainee understands what the product and the process is. While my fellow trainers were very strict on the timelines, everybody has one personality. So I would want to know what sort of a personality that a person is carrying. So I'd ask questions like, does discipline matter to you or not? Basically, there is no right or wrong answer in training field, because both of them apply the same. It can be a yes, it can be a no. So you'll need to understand the opposite person wants to be disciplined or not. Let's say if I'm asking you a question, Anurag, are you disciplined to work? Even if you tell me yes or no, it doesn't matter to me, because I believe in the quality of work. But if the opposite person is very much like, let's say, who's very much old school, time pe aana chahiye, time pe jana chahiye, for them discipline matters. So you'll need to understand what is your interviewer also expecting from you, and then change your answers and also stick to that, because that person is going to be your manager. So I will check the discipline, I will check what are your teaching methodologies. Would you use audiovisual aids? Would you use a whiteboard? Would you use a paper? If you ask questions, how are you going to ask? Let's say you're training. My questions would be like, let's say you're training 20 folks in a room and you feel that there are 3 people who are not listening to you constantly. What are the steps that you will take?
Okay.
Every personality will give different answers. Some people will be like, I will give my personal time to them. Some people will be like, I'll make them sit in the first bench so that they listen to me. Some people will be like, I'll ask a lot of questions to these people too, so that they listen to me or not. So I'll put extra assessments for these people. So based on that, I'll determine the personality. Is she or he gonna be a strict trainer or a trainer? So I'd say, this is again completely on your personality base. For me personally, if I do not see, let's say in a group of 20 people, 3 people are not listening to me, I'd have a chat with them. Okay, that's the best thing that you could do, is call them personally and ask them if they're facing any trouble back home, or, this generation is dealing with breakups and all of that. Try and understand what is going through their minds so that you can help them relax a bit. Give them that comfort zone, saying that, hey, it's okay if you don't listen for one day. Second day we can pick up, but come and ask me questions personally. So as a trainer, you might have to check what is feasible for you. There are a few people, no matter what you do, they will not listen to you at all. You give them time, you give them exception and all of that. So my next question would be, okay, you've given them exceptions, you've taken them into consideration, but they're still not listening to you. What would you do? So you should always follow the protocol. That means that you need to give them 3 instances, 3 chances, and then escalate it. Because sometimes the bad apples will spoil the whole class. Right. So you will need to eliminate the bad apples. You should give them a chance to prove themselves. Once they're not able to prove themselves, it's always better that you remove these bad apples and put them aside and involve HR, involve your training manager. So that will be the second question. If a group of people are not listening to you, what are you going to do? Then the next one is your escalation metrics. If you are happening to face some trouble and you're not able to understand, जो आपको content पढ़ानी है बच्चों को, आपको खुद को नहीं आ रहा. So how are you going to, deal with such trouble? Because as a trainer, तुम्हें खुद याद होना चाहिए पहले. So how are you going to ask for help? One thing in corporates, Anurag, that you should always reach out for help. If you're not knowing how to solve a particular problem, an issue, or whatever that is, you should be able to reach out for help. Some people feel that reaching out for help makes me feel very weak and things as such. You should always reach out for help. So I would want my trainer to say that I will reach out for help. I will ask for help. I will want to share the work individually and then make sure I am not burdened, because as a trainer, you'd be interacting with hundreds of people in a day, and you will lose out on the energy. So I would want my trainers to be confident enough, even if they're asking for help, that doesn't mean that they're weak, right? So this is the next set of questions that I might ask a person. And also about the unplanned leaves. Trainers cannot take sudden unplanned leaves, because let's say there's a batch of 20 people and I'm training them in next 5 days. I want my trainer to be available for those 5 days. So I'll see what sort of leaves that you would want to apply as a trainer when you join me, right? So again, whenever you are planning for your leaves, it should be well in advance, especially for the training department, at least a month advance. If let's say I have 5 trainers, one of them is going for leave, I have to make sure the rest of my 4 trainers are covering for that 5th trainer, right? So I'll check how many leaves that you're going to take. So you'll have to be really cautious in terms of your vacation planning. Emergency leaves, obviously, you would understand, because emergency doesn't come knocking on your door. It will just happen randomly. Obviously, managers would support them. So these are the questions that, Anurag, when you are going for a training profile, these are the questions that I might ask, or any training manager will ask. And the next comes the technical skills, where you'd say, like, how will you check the pass percentage? अब trainers की भी कोई metrics होती है. I have 5 trainers. कौन अच्छा है, कौन, who's standing on the 1st, who's standing on the 5th, I might have to determine. So we'll have some training matrices like throughput. So throughput is nothing but the number of people who's come to your class, that let's say 10 people, and all 10 people cleared. That's your 100% throughput. Let's say 10 people had come into your class, but 5 people only cleared the assessment. That's your 50% throughput. So as a trainer, your throughput will be your important metric. How many people are entering and how many people are clearing and how many people are able to deliver great quality on the floor. So these are your matrices. Quality on the floor, हम ये कैसे calculate करेंगे? 30, 60, 90 days. Let's say, Anurag, aap ek trainer ho, and then you have released a batch of 10 people onto the floor. I will see ye 10 people ka 30 days quality, how was it? 60 days quality, how was it? 90-day quality, how was it? If the quality is exceptionally good, you have delivered a great process and product to them.
Okay.
So
Like
these are the
quality means like how they're working. Like what are the,
How
like
they're
if a
working.
task is given. Okay, got it.
Yeah, how are they working? Yeah, 30, 60, and 90 days pe, we'll go ahead and measure. If the 30, 60, 90 days stands at somewhere close to 98 to 100%, you have done exceptionally good work in giving them the knowledge, process knowledge, or the product knowledge.
Okay.
So yeah, these are the questions, Anurag.
Okay, yep. Like technical skills, talking about like technical skills, as you told that throughput is there. Apart from this, any specific technical skills are required to get into this field? Specific.
So when I say technical, it can also mean like, software skills, like you need to know how to use basic Excel, like how to make VLOOKUPs, how to make bar graphs, how to make pivot charts, because these are important for you to represent your data to the manager. So whenever you're applying as a trainer, I'd say, go ahead, search on YouTube saying how you should do VLOOKUP, how you should put a bar graph, how you should go ahead and then, use the pivot table so that you'll extract the data. Whatever I just told you, like, 10 members, 5 people, like that in a year, if I suddenly ask you, Anurag, what's your throughput? You cannot show me the numbers. I would want the graphs. Yes, I just want to see the graphical representation. So as a trainer, it's important that you know the basics of Excel skills. I'm not saying that you'll need to know the deep diving of it, but the basics are really important, because as you grow up the curve, you will learn all of this. When you become a senior trainer, you will collate the data of all the trainers and then make a huge graph out of it. As a training manager, you will show you your client saying that, this is where my company stands and things as such. So basic Excel skills are needed. Basic things like how you should put a VLOOKUP, or, there's something called process knowledge test. You might have heard it. Every once in a month, you'll be given one assessment saying, aapka process knowledge kitna hai. So all that will be conducted by trainers. So if there are like 500 odd people, you cannot have one person scored 100. All this should be saved on an Excel sheet, right? So you'll need to have these basic software skills for you to become a trainer. And you can, these days, everything is on YouTube, so you can learn all of these online. And when you go to a training manager and such questions will be posed, you can answer confidently.
Like everything is there. If you want, in this full video, now we have talked about everything. Priyanka has explained each and everything very clearly with all her experience. If anything that you want to add up, Priyanka, you can add up, and we can end up this video. If there is something, if you want to add up any tips, any things for our freshers, like that.
Right. So there'd be one message that I would want to give. So any corporate, let's say you are entering for the first time, okay, go with extreme confidence, go with the future in your hand, saying that, this is what I'm going to do, that is what I'm going to do. So there are 4 departments, guys, in any corporate, that is training, quality, operations, and HR. Based on your personality, you'll fit in either of these roles. Operations are the ones which will run your daily operations, which means you'll see your manager, aaj ka target kiya ki nahi. Those are the people who will do operations. And you'll see the quality. Right? Jitne bhi log, agar 100 cases tumne kar diya ya 100 calls liye, there'll be one team which will pick up the sample and then audit on you. So that's called your quality. And the last one is training, which I'm working for. The new people, the freshers, when they come, they'll interact with the trainer, learn the process and sit on the floor. And the last one is HR department. They're involved in recruitments and collection of, work experience and all of that stuff. Understand where your personality fits in. Few of the people are very good at wants to, audit, and who wants to have a career in auditing and they like being in such place. So you should choose quality. Few of the people are very much extroverted. For them, feels like HR, feels like training suits them the most. Few of the people are very good with numbers. They like numbers. They like working around numbers. For them, I'd say you should go ahead and choose operations or quality, right? In either of these fields. Always go ahead and ask your manager. Have a great interaction with your manager. That's when you'll grow up the curve. Don't be this person who'd be sitting, who'll come to office on 9 o'clock and leave office at 6 o'clock and nobody observes you. You're doing your call target and you're going away. You will never get up the curve. So I'd say have a great interaction, a personal interaction with your manager, and good interaction with your co-workers, so that you will know what are the opportunities. And always check for IJPs. IJPs are nothing but internal job postings. Once you complete a year, once you complete 1.5 years, you can apply for these jobs internally, which means all you have to do is you have to give them your experience in the company and your target and quality, if they meet or not. Always remember, guys, if you want to apply for any of the IJPs, your target should be up to the mark, your quality should be up to the mark. So if you're wanting to grow up the curve, make sure these things are constantly maintained no matter what. And then you can apply for the upcoming roles. That would be either training, quality operations, or HR. And then you can move ahead, clear the interviews in IJP, and that's when the growth happens faster, right? So that's it, Anurag. This is one of the things that
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Priyanka, for giving your time. And definitely we have discussed each and everything, and whatever if you want to get in a training field, this video is perfect for you, because we have discussed everything. Like in a ordered manner, we have discussed which certification do you need, what qualities do you need, everything. So you can comment down. Thank you so much, Priyanka. अगर मेरे को थैंक यू नहीं बनाया भाई, कमेंट करके बोल सकते हो. थैंक यू सो मच प्रियंका. मिलते हैं आपको नेक्स्ट वीडियो में. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर गिविंग योर टाइम प्रियंका. मिलते हैं ऐसी वीडियोस हम लोग लेके आते हैं.
It was great talking to you. I hope this video helps.
Same for me also. I got to know so many things in this particular video, and people who are watching, they also might get many things. Definitely. मिलते हैं. Bye bye. जय हिंद. वंदे मातरम.
Bye.